The CREST trial showed that BCG induction and maintenance plus subcutaneous sasanlimab monthly for 2 years can improve 7% in absolute benefit the outcomes of these patients. I mean, they can be free from recurrence, from high-grade recurrence, up to 7% more than only with BCG induction and maintenance. It also showed improved responses with carcinoma in situ, which is particularly difficult to manage. It reported a 90% recurrence-free survival from carcinoma in situ at 3 years versus only 67%, although we have to consider that the CREST trial included only a very limited amount of patients with carcinoma in situ, which was different from the POTOMAC trial. They included like 50 patients per arm, and this could be due to only chances that they found this, but it's something that we cannot ignore. They had some very positive results when it comes to carcinoma in situ. Well, this was particularly interesting. The POTOMAC trial, which added durvalumab for only 1 year instead of 2 years, that's a sasanlimab trial. They showed an absolute benefit of 5%, approximately 4.4 if we want to be super exact. And they showed that adding durvalumab to BCG induction and maintenance for 2 years, the induction and maintenance, durvalumab for only 1 year, they had the best outcomes. In the arm B, where it was just BCG induction and 1 year of durvalumab, it was the worst results of the whole trial. So this has to be discarded as an option, but it was very good to try it. And in the arm C, it was a standard of care. So we can see that adding durvalumab to the treatment improves the outcomes in a very limited fashion. So it has to be considered that maybe it's not worth including it, but definitely we can say that the benefit of durvalumab will be present as long as BCG is still being given. So maintenance of BCG will be key for the benefits of durvalumab. As of now, BCG is the best treatment available. We can say that at 3 years, about 75% of patients will remain disease-free, only with BCG induction and maintenance. With these 2 trials, we can say that we can improve that to 82%. That is a meaningful percentage or not that meaningful, depending on how we want to look at it. Either the glass is half full or half empty. We can say that even if patients receive the full treatment with sasanlimab or durvalumab added to their BCG induction and maintenance, 25% of patients that receive immunotherapy with durvalumab or sasanlimab, they have grade 3 or 4 adverse events. That means that those patients required hospitalization, intensive treatment, and it was a life-threatening adverse event. So that's something to take into account, 25% of these patients. And even that, 25% of the patients in the trial had a recurrence even with this treatment. So even if you got all the adverse events from the treatment, you could still end up with the recurrence. In those patients, we will only have as a last choice a radical cystectomy or another clinical trial, but you don't have anything else to give them. So it's a very difficult situation when you have a patient with high-risk disease or very high-risk disease, and you can offer this that has high toxicity, high risk of adverse events, or also the best chance of keeping them disease-free. So it will be not that easy to take that choice or to respond this question. I suppose that shared decision-making will be key with these scenarios, and patients will have to know about this option, I think.